Hello, my miraculous friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I'm so grateful that we get to spend this time helping you magnify your miracles. Today, I'm going to be sharing some miraculous stories and hopefully open your mind up to ways that you can start receiving messages from the universe in miraculous ways that you've probably not thought of before. But before we do that, let's take a breath together. And just take a moment and get ourselves really open and ready to receive this beautiful energy today. Breathing in the energy of relaxation and expansion, breathing out anything you no longer need. And knowing that whatever it is that you need to hear to help you magnify your miracles is exactly what's going to be happening. Let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude, and we can begin. All right, my friend. Well, welcome once again to the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. And I am recording this podcast in August of 2023. And there have been a lot of really wonderful people who have been leaving the planet, beautiful musicians. Tony Bennett passed away. Sinead O'Connor just passed away. The actor Paul Rubens, who played Pee Wee Herman, passed away, even though he's not necessarily a singer. But all these amazing performers, and there's lots and lots of people. And of course, people are leaving the planet every day. But it just seems like there's been a lot of people that are near and dear to my heart who have been leaving the planet, even though I don't know them, all of them personally, but they've had an impact on me. And I wanted to talk to you about spiritual messages that you can receive from popular music. This is really important because it happens to me all the time. And it just happened to me with Sinead O'Connor. And there's this amazing story I want to share with you of something that happened to me when I was looking to find a new therapist. And I just want to share these stories with you because I think it shows how the universe, the divine presence, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is always trying to catch our attention and is always trying to bring us, inspiration and insight and things we can do to help us magnify the miracles that we have in our lives. So I'm curious if you've ever received a message from spirit in the form of a song. Now, a couple of episodes ago, I don't remember the exact episode it was, but I shared that I had this really amazing download with the song Hey Jude. And, heard that song a million times. But there was this one particular day that I was listening to it, having just watched a TV show, and that song was on the TV show. And I was listening to it and it made me cry. And I was like, what's going on? And then I read the lyrics for the first time. I really read them, and I just didn't sing them like I'd always did. And as I was reading them, I was like, oh, there's a message here for me. This song is for me. And since that time, I've become more and more aware of messages coming through popular music. Now, you might be saying to me, does it have to be popular music? Of course not. But popular music tends to be what we're hearing because it's what's popular, it's what's around. You can listen to something from a long time ago and you might get a message. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be, in the Hot 100 or whatever they call it these days. It can be something from a long time ago. It doesn't have to be quote unquote popular, but you have to be open to hearing it. And so when you are driving in your car, if you turn on your radio or whatever it might be, that's when spirit has a chance to swoop right in there and bring something to your attention. And if you start to ask for guidance, you'll start to notice. But even if you're not asking for the guidance, these things can start happening. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what happened for me. So Sinead O'Connor is one of my absolute favorite singer-songwriters. Personally, I think she's brilliant. And her melodies so amazing and her lyrics so profound. And she's one of the songwriters that really, really impacted me, not only, in the early 90s when she was popular and the Nothing Compares to You, which that's not really her song. She didn't write that song. I honor all of that. I think it's amazing. And the album that she wrote after that, the Songs of the Universal Mother, just just profound, amazing, amazing musician. So I loved her. And I know a little bit about, what was going on with Sinead O'Connor behind the scenes, but not a lot. I knew she struggled with some mental health challenges, having been raised with a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, in a country that was really traumatized in Ireland, and a lot of the people in Ireland having a lot of lineage abuse and trauma, from colonization and all of that. So I knew that, but I wasn't really current. I'm not following her on Instagram or any of that kind of stuff. So when I found out on July 26th that she'd passed away, here's what's weird about that is she's got this beautiful song that I love called This Is the Last Day of Our Acquaintance. And it's from that album, the album that has the Nothing Compares to You song on it. And it's just two chords that she's playing over and over again. I'm a guitar player, just these two chords. This is the last day of our acquaintance. And it's a song about a divorce. It's a song about going to somebody's office and they're dividing up their lives. And it's so well written and poignant. And you really get into the feeling of like, yeah, it's just such a weird thing that people love each other. And then the next thing you know, they're in an office getting like settling their affair. It's just strange. And I've always, always liked that song, but I haven't heard that song or listened to that song in years. Well, on July 26th, I woke up and immediately in my head started hearing, This is the last day of our acquaintance. And that morning, kind of humming it to myself, I'll talk, but you won't listen to me. I love that song. On and on. I'm like, okay, I have a Sinead song in my head. And then that afternoon, I saw on the news, it popped up, I think, in my social media feed, Sinead O'Connor passed. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening? I woke up, tuned in to what was happening. Now, I didn't know that. I was not trying to know that, and there it was. And I was like, oh, now I love Sinead O'Connor. And there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if me loving her put me in the frequency to pick that up and to know that was going on. I wonder about that. I wonder if like that love is what it is that connects us with everything. Because, Tony Bennett passed, and God bless Tony Bennett. I love Lady Gaga. I like the work she did with him, and I love him as an icon. But would I go to his concert by himself? Probably not. I don't love him. So when he passed, I was sad that he passed, but I didn't wake up. I didn't get any kind of message or anything like that. But I think because I loved her so much and I identify with her so much, and her music has meant so much to me, I think it's almost like on a spiritual level, she said goodbye. And of all the songs I could think of all the songs of hers that I love her song Mandinka and all of them. That song, This is the last day of our acquaintance, on the day she passed. Whoa, gives me chills even as I'm thinking about it. And then, of course, I saw everybody, their huge outpouring of love and sadness for her because she just embodied such an archetype of truth and being true to herself no matter what, and beauty and artistic integrity and everything. So that got me really thinking about messages in popular music. And then I wanted to share with you another story. Because I have this theory that modern songs are really modern psalms. That's what I like to say. Modern songs are really modern psalms. And if you take them and you really listen to them and you change a little bit about what they're about, they're really love songs to and from the divine. That's how I like to see it. Well, we can even get guidance through popular music. And I'm going to give you this example. So last year in 2022, for those of you who've been listening to the podcast, you know that I had gotten sick in July of 2022. I ended up finally, the whole world had gotten COVID. I hadn't gotten it. And I finally got it in July of 22. And thank goodness, I felt awful, but I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. And all I could really do was lie on the sofa and watch movies. And so one of my favorite all-time movies is the movie Australia with Nicole Kidman. And it's from, I don't know, 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. It's been out for a while now, but I love this movie. And if you've never seen it, watch this movie. It's really, really good. I had to watch it the first time I watched it, I was like, what is even happening? Because the Australian accent and then the figures of speech that they had and the little boy, and I didn't know what he was saying, what he was referring to. It wasn't until after the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, is that what they were trying to say? And then once I understood the story, I love this story. And I try to watch it every year because it's so amazing. But there is a song in that movie that you'll know, because the movie takes place in 1939 in Australia, and that's the same year that The Wizard of Oz comes out. So that movie is about this little Aboriginal boy. He's half Aboriginal and half Australian or English, I guess, Caucasian, I should say. And it's his journey of not really fitting in 100% in the Aboriginal world, and it doesn't really fit in the Caucasian world, all that stuff. And so Nicole Kidman, who is one of the heroines of the movie, sings that song to him, sings the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song to him. And then that keeps reprising throughout the movie. So I'm watching this, and somewhere over the rainbow, is going on and on in the movie. He goes to see the movie. He's in the movie theater. It comes up later. It's just all throughout there. So this song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Now, how many times have I heard Somewhere Over the Rainbow? 1,000 times, probably just as many times as I've heard Hey Jude. And do I love that song? Sure, I love that song, but that song wouldn't leave me alone. So I watched the movie, done with the movie, song is still going in my head. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. All going on in my head. And I know that there's that modern song with the guy that plays the ukulele. He's got the modern version of it. Song wouldn't leave me alone. So I'm learning to play the piano. During COVID, one of the things I did is I'm learning online, this amazing online learning called, well, now they've changed their name to Masora, but it was called Pianote back then, or Pianote. The best online learning. And if anybody wants to have a free trial of it, email me and I can get you a free trial of it if you want to learn to play piano. Now they have piano, guitar, drums, and voice. They have all four, but if you want to learn to play piano. So I'm learning to play piano, and I had the thought, I wonder if I can learn to play this song. Somewhere over the rain. So I'm like learning how to play this song still going in my head, going in my head, going in my head. Somewhere along this time, I start thinking, I have a lot of stuff that's going on. There's a lot of stress in my family. I think I'm going to, look for a new therapist. And the thought of looking for a new therapist was really daunting. I was like, oh God, I got to interview people, and this feels hard, and I don't know anybody. And I don't know, it just felt really, really hard. Song, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And I'm like, okay, this song is all about going home and how it's already been there the whole time, how you've had the power the whole time. Song's going on, singing this song, learning to play this song on the piano, doing a little bit of a search. I do one search looking for a particular kind of therapist. I wanted somebody who did body-centered, spiritual. I wanted to go to someone who was more spiritual and could help me, with releasing old trauma, old stress, stuff like that. And I happen upon this woman in Pennsylvania, and I go to her website. I put in all the criteria of I'm looking for someone who's spiritual, blah, blah. Put in the criteria, and I go to her website, and her website is it looks all mystical. It's got the moon, and it's got these stars, and it's got all this mysticism, and she's got this background in mysticism. And I'm like, ooh, she would be a good therapist. And I look, and guess what her name is? Dorothy. Her name is Dorothy, from Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz. And I was like, oh My goodness. The Wizard of Oz song, guiding me, guiding me, guiding me, following that yellow brick road. Here I come. And there it was. So then I contact her, and she was completely filled up, as a lot of therapists were during COVID, completely filled up. But she referred me to somebody who knew all the things that I was needing. And that ended up being my therapist, who I love so much and has been helping me and understands all the mysticism and understands all my spiritual stuff and has been really helping me so much. But that song helped me lead me to opening up to finding my therapist. And then as soon as I found my therapist, the song dropped right out of my head. I haven't played it since. So this is one of the ways that spirit can talk to you through popular music. So I encourage you to take a look at, are there any songs right now that are really speaking to you? Maybe it's a current song. Maybe it's an old song. Maybe it's a song that your mom used to love. Maybe it's something that you just can't quite get out of your head. Pay a little bit more attention and look and see, is there a message here for me? Is there something about this song that I need to know? And it might just be, that there's something in there for you. Maybe it's one line. Maybe it's just one line in a song that spirit wants you to know. Maybe it's a love song from your guardian angel. Maybe it's your spirit guide wanting to connect with you. Maybe it's Mother Mary whispering in your ear and saying, pay attention to this. I bet it could be all of those things. I would love to hear about it. So if you've ever had an experience like that, let me know. Put it in the comments. And I would love to hear what songs have shown up for you as a spiritual message. What songs have shown up as a spiritual message? Now, it might not be as dramatic as some of the things for me, like the Sinead O'Connor, waking up to that song and then realizing like, whoa, I'm connecting in with something. Although I have to say, one of our members in the Magnify Your Miracles membership, this is a gift that she has. She wakes up almost every day with a song in her head, and she knows that's her message for the day. I think that's the coolest gift that she has. She tells me, yeah, I woke up this morning and I had this song in my head, and that was my message for the day. It's almost like pulling an oracle card in some ways, but for her, it comes in musical form. You could do that. You could ask for that. You can ask the universe to send you messages through songs, but just pay attention because it's already happening. What songs catch your attention? And if you're like me and you sing along and you don't really know the lyrics, Google the lyrics and be like, what is she saying? What is that line? How does it go? And see if there's something in there that's encouraging you, because I bet there is. I bet there is. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much for letting me know what songs really speak to you and for being here on this journey that we call the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. If this really speaks to you, I would love it if you could share it with somebody. And I'd love to hear what their songs are that Spirit has been speaking through them. If you're watching me on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on whatever podcast format, thank you so much. If you could leave me a review, that would really help me as well. I respond to every single comment. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much in advance. And remember, my friend, always, always remember that your miracle is already here. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.